welcome everyone. My name is Jeff Birch. I've been the MPP here in Niagara Centre for since 2018, and it's really my pleasure to welcome my fellow candidates and colleagues here to Port Colborne for a very important announcement. Last time I was here in Port Colborne with Marit, it was Canal Days, and it was balmy temperature. Not so much today. But thanks so much for everyone for coming out. The Port Colborne Health Coalition, who've been fighting to keep our urgent care open, and we really appreciate that. The hospital behind me was paid for by the dues money from workers' paychecks, steel workers from Inco, from the old shoe factory, and other workplaces in Port Colborne. It was dedicated to the World War II veterans. There's a plaque inside dedicating this hospital. It's a community hospital, and it's important to this community. Just as the Fort Erie urgent care is important to the people of Fort Erie, we need emergency services. We need urgent cares. We need family doctors and health teams. We need all those things. It's not a choice between one thing and the other. And I'm so pleased to have our leader Marit here. She's been here a number of times. She understands Port Colborne. She understands South Niagara and the concerns of the people for their health care here in South Niagara. And I'm so pleased to have her here for a very important announcement. Thank you, Marit, for coming.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, it was a little bit warmer the last time I was here, I think, actually. But listen, everybody, it's really wonderful to be here. Good afternoon. I'm so pleased to be joined here today by Dave Augustine, our amazing candidate for Niagara West. Yes, Jeff Birch, our MPP for Niagara Centre. Wayne Gates, MPP for Niagara Falls. Jenny Stevens, MPP for St. Catharines. Also pleased that Laura Walton is joining us here from the Ontario Federation of Labour. She's been on the bus with me a bit today. It's been great having her along. Yeah. Look, healthcare should never be a privilege of geography. It should never depend on where you live, how far you can drive, or whether the government of the day sees your community as a priority. For too long, but that's exactly what has happened here in Niagara. One by one, services have been stripped away. Hospitals have been downgraded, emergency rooms have been shuttered, and urgent care hours have been slashed. And Ontarians, you're facing longer drives and wait times and all that added stress when you need care. And that's not the health care you deserve. Let's call it what it is, right? A deliberate choice by consecutive Liberal and Conservative governments. Decisions made far away from the people that are right here, who rely on these hospitals every single day. Doug Ford's Conservatives took things even further. They gutted our after-hours urgent care in Port Colborne and Fort Erie, and they stripped emergency services from Welland. And while that was happening, Conservative candidates right here in Niagara stood by in silence. Well, we didn't, and we will not. We see you, we hear you, and I can tell you the Ontario NDP is on your side. Because you know what? This is about politics. No. This is about people, not politics.
Hear, hear.
It's about the people. And when your child has a high fever in the middle of the night, I've certainly been there. When your aging parent needs emergency care, when you or a loved one is in distress, you should not have to drive miles just to get the help that you need. You deserve health care that is close to home. And let's be clear, healthcare cuts don't happen in isolation, right? They don't come out of nowhere. Families in Niagara and across the province struggling already with the rising cost of living, they know that. Groceries are more expensive. Housing costs are completely out of control. And under this Ford government, even getting to a hospital is becoming harder and more expensive. Long drives for urgent care means more gas, paying more for parking, more time off work, more strain on families that are already really stretched thin. That's why today I am making this commitment to you. As Premier, I will restore services to the Port Colborne and Fort Erie urgent care centres. An Ontario NDP government will fully reopen a staffed, full-service hospital in Welland with a 24/7 emergency department. You know, this election is about a choice. On the one hand, you have Doug Ford's cuts and closures and chaos, or you can vote for real investments in healthcare. With an NDP government here in Ontario that's on your side, no Niagara resident will be left behind when it comes to healthcare. Today, I am very proud to stand alongside Debbie McGregor, who's right here behind me, who has agreed to share her story with us. I also want to recognize Tammy Longhurst for sharing her experiences with me and with folks here. I want to thank you both for being here and for giving us an opportunity to hear a little bit firsthand about what the impact has been of many of the changes I've talked about today. And I hope as well, you know, what these changes and this commitment that I've made to you as Premier to have a government that's on your side and that's going to deliver for the people of Niagara. Thank you very much, and I'm going to hand it over to Debbie.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Please.
The story I want to share is deeply personal. Yet I know far too many families in Niagara have lived a similar experience. In the past 7 years, I've lost my sister, my brother, and my mother last month. A few years before that, I lost my dad. When my mom got sick, I had no idea how hard the road ahead would be. I didn't know how much time, energy, and money it would take just to get the care she needed. My mom was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 2016, and we spent a lot of time going to Toronto at first, to St. Mike's, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And we got everything transferred to the Walker Cancer Center, which they were truly amazing. She then had her stomach removed in 2017 at Juravinski. And everything went good, and then everything that could go wrong went wrong. We spent 300 days traveling back and forth to Hamilton, spending money on gas, me taking time off of work. And then we can't forget these great parking tickets receipts that we get. My daughter and I figured that we have already spent, or that we spent $7,500 at least in parking. Access to health care should never depend on how far you can drive or how much you can pay. Yet for too long, this has been our reality. Here in Niagara, those life-saving services have been taken away. I'm sharing my story today because I believe healthcare is a right. It's not just a privilege. And if the government had not abandoned us in Niagara, my family's experience wouldn't have been so difficult. I stand here today because I believe that you and the Ontario NDP, and I believe that you have the courage and the commitment to fix our broken healthcare system. It's time for change. It's time for a premier that's on our side.
I know that's hard. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, these are not easy stories to share or, frankly, to hear. And I think many of us, and as I go around the province, I can't tell you how many people I've heard tell, you know, really tragic stories. And many of us, you know, I talked about earlier, but we've experienced that, you know, whether it's an extremely long wait at an emergency room or actually showing up at an emergency room and it being closed when you need it open. Ontarians deserve health care when and where they need it, and that is my commitment to Ontarians and to Niagara. We got to deliver it, and we cannot afford another 4 years of this. We cannot afford it. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and with that, I'm very happy to take your questions.
So for those on the line, please press *1 to get the question lineup, and everyone else, line up behind me on the mic.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Alan Hale from the Trillium.
Hi, Alan.
So we had President Trump has talking about steel tariffs and aluminum tariffs, and we were. The PC leader was asked about this today, and he sort of took it as a sign that this is what we can expect from the Americans for the next 4 years. And Mr. Ford seems to be making the argument that other issues like this hospital or whatever, they have to take a back seat to this tariff issue, because if we don't save the economy from some sort of catastrophe, then it's trying to fix things like this are not really going to matter in the long run anyway. What do you make of that kind of that logic?
Well, first of all, let me be very clear to everybody in Ontario. As Premier, I will fight for every single job and defend every single worker in this province, in every sector, first of all. And then secondly, I would say, we knew this was coming. We've seen this play out before, back in 2018, and as I recall, and I was just meeting with steelworkers in Hamilton just a few hours ago, who will be directly impacted by these tariffs potentially, and I'll tell you what they said to me. They said, we are strong. We're going to hold strong, and our members are strong and united. They also reminded me that back in 2018, when Donald Trump did this, it was Doug Ford who did nothing. He left it all to the federal government. Yes, he did. So I want to say to Doug Ford, we knew this was possibly coming, and Donald Trump, he laid it all out in his election, and Doug Ford has said that he 100% supported him through that election. So I don't think we can trust Doug Ford to stand up for Ontarians and to protect all our jobs and defend our workers and our communities. And the other thing I would add is, he has left us, his government, after 7 years of Doug Ford, we have been left weak because of the cost of living that has soared under his government, weak and vulnerable because our healthcare system is hurting. And that is not a position you want to be in when a government like Donald Trump's comes after you. So I will commit not only to defending every single job and fighting for every single worker, but I will also commit to ensuring that we have a strong healthcare system, strong services, that we bring the cost of living down so that we have a tariff-proof Ontario that will be strong over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I would also like to ask perhaps Jeff or Jenny or Wayne, whoever you wants to come up and take this one. It seems like the PCs are really pushing for taking your guys' ridings in this election. We have endorsements from like the Mayor of St. Catharines, that sort of thing. How confident are the three of you that you can win re-election this year?
Can I speak to that first?
Of course.
Before I turn it over to them? I want to say this. Good luck, Doug Ford, because these are three of the hardest working MPPs you are going to find anywhere in Ontario. And I know why Doug Ford, wants to try to take out strong MPPs like this, because he knows that we're not just coming to hold him to account, but we are coming for his government. He resigned. He quit his job as Premier when he called this election. I am applying for that job, and I am going to be a premier that Ontarians can count on to be on their side, along with this incredible team that we have here in the Niagara region. So, you know what? That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing momentum on the ground. We feel it. We've got thousands of volunteers coming out, record donations. We're feeling good on the ground. I don't know if one of you want to respond, though, as well. Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks, Marit. First of all, I'm just incredibly proud to work with Jenny and Wayne, and we form a great team, and we form a great team because we listen to people. And listening to people means going to where they are, and when we go to where they are and we listen to them, we hear that they're concerned about health care, they're concerned about the cost of living, they're concerned about where they're going to live, finding a home. Those are the things that people are concerned about, choosing between groceries and rent. And so those are the issues that we champion. Doug Ford has called this election, it's cynical. He's really only in it for himself. We're in it for the people that elected us and the people that we fight for.
Here. Right on. Here. All said. Thank you.
Hi, Rose Lamberti. I'm with Niagara this week.
Hi.
So back in 2024, Lockview Medical, they presented to Port Colborne Council and MPP Mayor Bill Steele a proposal to replace the UCC with a primary care center. They've been advocating for primary care solutions, but what are your thoughts specifically on the closure and finding that balance between primary care and urgent care?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass this one along to my colleague here. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much. That's a great question. Some time ago, a proposal came forward that the current mayor, who's also the PC candidate running against me, approved of, and that included closing this urgent care permanently in 2028. Yes, they're talking about bringing a primary healthcare team in, but as I said when I started, this shouldn't be a choice between an urgent care and family doctors. That's a false choice. It's not an either or. People need both in this community, and they need geriatric services and they need other services. And this hospital is a community hospital. It should have all those things to serve the people of Port Colborne. It's not a choice, and so that proposal is not something that we will support. We're going to fight for the 24/7 urgent care here. That's what the people of Port Colborne want. That's what Marit Stiles and the NDP is going to fight for.
Right on. Here. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you very much.
On the line, we have Laura Stone. Laura, go ahead.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Ms. Stiles. Thanks for taking our questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted your reaction to Mr. Ford traveling to Washington tomorrow for 2 days of meetings. He says he's going to, pitch the idea of working closely with Canada and Ontario, and it's important to meet with U.S. lawmakers and to make the case for this, building relationships. What do you make of his trip down south during the campaign?
Well, again, I just want to say, and I want to be very clear, that as Premier, I will fight for every single job and defend every single worker in this province. Doug Ford has shown us what he's made of every single time, right? He's left us vulnerable as a province, and he quit his job when he called this election. Last week, he couldn't even be bothered to show up to meet with workers and industry and our colleagues and friends across the country to talk about what is needed, which is, I maintain, a strong, united, all hands on deck approach. So he can go off and freelance with his back of the napkin ideas, but it's not going to help us to stand up to Donald Trump in the united, strong way we need to as a country. So, and I can assure you, and I don't want anybody to forget this, this is the same guy who during that election that just took place, when Donald Trump threatened Canadian jobs and Canadian workers, he was willing to say that he supported him 100%. And that tells you everything you need to know about Doug Ford.
Mara, do you think that Ontario would be at a disadvantage if Mr. Ford didn't go, seeing as the other premiers are going and advocating for their jurisdictions? I mean, it doesn't sound like you're outright against his travel right now. You're just kind of criticizing him calling the campaign. I mean, is there anything wrong, I suppose, with him going?
Look, he called an election. Yeah. He called an election at a time when Ontario is facing a significant threat. But the other thing is, as my colleagues already said, is, what is it that he doesn't want to talk about, right? Doug Ford doesn't want to talk about the fact that people in Ontario are losing their family members in hallways in our hospitals because there aren't enough beds and there aren't enough nurses and other healthcare workers, because our healthcare workers are so burned out that they're leaving the healthcare system. Like, this is the state of Ontario today. Our urgent care centers are closing, our emergency rooms. He wants people to think that they have to make a choice between these things. That's no choice at all. I am guaranteeing to Ontarians that you will get the health care that you need when you need it. That is what we deserve in this province, and I'll tell you, at the NDP, as the party of Tommy Douglas that brought public health care to this country, we will defend it every single day.
Last question.
Hi there, it's Alan from the Trillium again.
Hi, Alan.
We saw this Canadian Press report about another whale dying in Marineland, and I was wondering if what you and Wayne think of that, and is it time for Marineland to close?
Want me to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I commented on this earlier today, so I'll let Wayne. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Go for it.
Well, let's be clear, I didn't hear her comments earlier today, so I'll tell you exactly what should happen at Marineland. The time has come, it's long past, that they should make sure that both the provincial and federal governments make sure that the animals that are in Marineland are taken care of, that they're safe, they're transported where they have to go. It's time that Marineland is closed permanently. It should be repurposed. It had served its purpose as a tourism mega kind of thing. Let's bring in something different that doesn't include animals. As we know, we've had a lot of our whales die. We've had other animals pass there. It's far past the time that they should move on from the Marineland as we know it today.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. And thank you so much to everybody who came out today. I really want to say, I'm so grateful to all the healthcare workers, to the healthcare unions as well, who have stood up for our public healthcare system, but also to so many of the volunteers and community members who continue to try to really fight to keep our urgent care centers open. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. Okay.